Now, I was just settling down for the night, you know. I was all curled up on the sofa with a glass of wine, like the middle-aged lady I've clearly become. The sad thing is I'm not even joking. And I noticed a little notification, a little round Spotify logo-shaped notification at the top of my phone. And I realised, oh, it's Tuesday. An episode of Archetypes came out. And you know what? I kind of thought, I don't care. I don't need to, whatever. I just listened to the first 5 minutes just to see, you know, is there anything there? And then I noticed the title. Angry Black Women. Why? Why are you testing me, God?
Why? Why, God?
About 2 years ago, my husband and I went to have a socially distanced dinner with another couple.
Oh, God.
Actually, it was just drinks because this was when there was still so much uncertainty with COVID. We followed all the rules and we met friends at a distance.
Look, I know I make a lot of videos about Meghan, and I know that I take the piss out of her a lot, but I really try to play the devil's advocate, at least in my own mind, as far as I can with it. I find her really irritating, and I find her really fake and really false. But I can't. People who talk like this about the pandemic, about how they obeyed all the rules and they socially distanced. We went for a socially distanced meal. Fuck off. I can't be impartial about that stuff. It just, people fucking ruined my life for 2 years. Fuck them. Holier than thou neo-Puritan twats. It's good to have a creative outlet at the end of the day, you know?
Well, it was great to just have a human interaction again.
What's wrong with your eyes?
An even greater moment happened as we were leaving. The wife handed me a book.
She handed you a book? Well, I should certainly hope she scrubbed her hands thoroughly with some hydroalcoholic hand sanitizer.
That she said she thought I might find interesting. I thanked her. I put it in my purse, only really having a chance to skim through it once I arrived back home. And when I did, I was actually shocked. Did you know this? I kept nudging my husband as we were sitting there in bed.
No, I'm sorry, Meghan. I didn't mean to.
And what I was referring to was what I was learning in this incredible book, the title of which, by the way, is Algorithms of Oppression.
Sounds interesting.
By Internet Studies scholar Safia Noble. And in the book, Noble pointed out what she'd found in this research study to better understand how the digital age shaped our perception of each other.
Nerd!
Especially of women, and specifically of women of color.
Oh boy, here it comes.
Her findings in this book had my jaw on the floor. She established that when you type in a question on the Google search engine, it would, as we've all seen before with autofill, try to guess what your question will be. Sort of like the modern-day technological Mad Lib.
Just in case any of us plebs were unsure, you know, we couldn't quite visualize the Google search bar. As you're typing, right, it'll kind of start guessing what you're typing. It's kind of like a magic, how could I describe it? I mean, if you've never seen one before, it's hard to imagine. Got no idea how in or out of touch she is with the rest of the world.
So, to fill in the blank, to be intuitive for you.
She carries on. And that's what it sounds like, by the way, like this. Okay, just in case you were wondering.
When she typed in, why are black women so... ...
When she typed in, why are black women so... ... And also, while I'm at it, you know, if you're typing into Google, why are black women so... I mean, that's going to be an inappropriate question that you can't ask someone in the street, you know, a member of the public. You can only really ask a really close friend or family. And if you're black or a black woman, you're not going to be asking that question because you probably know the answer, right? So as a white man, if I need to ask a question which begins with the words, why are black women so... That suggests that an adjective is going to finish that sentence. And I'm suggesting that black women are particularly that adjective, right? I'm not going to just ask people, right? I'm asking Google if that. You know, you got to be careful as well. You know, there's people in the house and that thought comes into your head. Why are black women so... Alexa, why are black women so... Oh, fuck. Nothing, Alexa. Oh, don't bring up search history.
The autofill from the computer, the machine, trying to guess your thoughts, maybe shape your thoughts, completed her search with these options.
Oh, why are black women so... Here we go.
Why are black women so loud? Why are black women so mean? And why are black women so angry?
You know, the stupid thought came into my head of inserting a load of clips in now of angry, rude, boisterous black women. And I haven't done that for two reasons. First of all, you know, I could have been here all night looking for clips of loud black women. But no, seriously, second of all, this is a serious point. That would be confirmation bias, wouldn't it? Sort of like this study. I want to write a book about negative stereotypes surrounding women of colour. So what do I look for? Negative stereotypes of women of colour on Google. Yeah, retard.
Those were the seeds being planted. This idea that a black woman must be angry.
The seeds that have been planted by whom? The World Economic Forum? Klaus Schwab? No, they've got fatter fish to fry with, destroying our livelihoods. So, no, don't worry about that. No, these are questions that come up because they're questions that are frequently asked. Why are black women so whatever? That's obviously going to be a negative trope, whatever it is, because you've started a sentence with an inevitable negative outcome, right? Why are black women so whatever? It's going to be something more than any other particular race. Whoever writes that question believes that they've seen something in black women that is more common, more prevalent than it is with other groups of people, right? So it's confirmation bias. You're just looking for something. And of course, you're going to find questions that people have formulated in that way. Why am I even having to explain this?
An angry black woman. When we all know that sometimes things make you feel angry or sad or hurt or upset, and that's not a gender or racially specific feeling.
My God, I feel patronized. Yeah, I think we all understand that black, white, Asian, whatever, you know, we don't have to conform to the stereotypes that people have about our particular group. But hey, you know what? Maybe outward expressions of certain emotions are more prevalent in certain groups. And that's whatever, you know, that might be true, it might not. It doesn't really have to be race per se, it can be cultural. So, I mean, you come to Spain, there's 17 different regions here, and there are stereotypes about people from all of those regions. And whenever anyone conforms to any of those stereotypes, people go, oh yeah, typical Galician, you know, yeah, he answers your question with another question, or, oh, typical Catalan, tight-fisted, oh, Madrileño. People from Madrid, oh, they think they're it, don't they? City slickers. Typical lazy Andalusian lying about doing no work. The sunbathing, it's the summer. Because it's not racial, people don't have a problem with it. But there might be a certain amount of truth to it. Not that an individual from one of those regions is like that, but when they see people conforming to those stereotypes, they kind of go, yeah, well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess being angry and rude is worse than being sexy and dangerous like the Asian women we heard about a couple of weeks ago. The dragon ladies. But I don't think people are saying that publicly. They're just searching it on Google. It's just something they've noticed. Suburbanite white people. I wonder why black people are so loud. I'm going to ask Google.
Yet this trope of the angry black woman, it persists. And as we saw in this book, it was being reinforced constantly in ways we hadn't even realized. And from that, I started to dig deeper
Oh, God, she's digging again.
Where does this idea even come from?
Well, I don't know what people think of black women, but I know that certainly it's far more socially acceptable on social media to post things about angry white women. And that in the last couple of years, we've seen this Karen meme arising. Every time there's a white woman getting angry about something in public, she gets called a Karen. And that's kind of a very socially acceptable and race-based generalization, trope. I'm sure there might be a trope around black women being angry or whatever, but it's certainly not as prevalent as the trope around white women being angry, I wouldn't say, at the moment. And therefore, if in fact there is a trope, a stereotype surrounding black women, that they're more angry than, say, women of other races, I'm not sure I give a shit. Because there's definitely one about white women, and I don't care about that.
Why has it been attributed to black women? And how do some black women cower from it, lean into it, or sometimes even play into it? And on that last point, I knew just who I wanted to talk to.
An angry black woman? She probably consulted it with the show's fact checker beforehand. Is there such a thing as angry black women? I mean, sure, there are black women who are kind of angry. Get me an angry black woman.
Well, here we are.
Hello.
Hello and hello. Well, first, do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yes.
Oof, that was a bit of an aggressive yes.
Hello, my name is Zeeway, of Showtime's Zeeway, and I'm happy to be here today.
And we're so pleased to have you. Call security, she looks a little angry.
I was incredibly excited to sit down with Zeeway, a Nigerian-American comedian, actress, and writer. I just had my genealogy done a couple years ago.
What? What are you?
43% Nigerian.
No way! No, whoa, Jacqueline! Oh my gosh, are you really serious?
Yeah.
Am I the only person who doubts the validity of these genealogy tests? I mean, oh, fucking hell, listen to me. Am I the only person who doubts the validity? No, of course you're fucking not. Stay humble. I think these ancestry tests are bullshit. I'm just going to come out and say it, right? I'm going to take on big genealogy. I call bullshit. How accurate can they be? Because if you go far back enough, we're all Central African, Sub-Saharan African, whatever. And according to these scientists, you know, if you go far back enough, we're just like these horrible amphibious mud skipper-like things. Well, I've looked into my genealogy and it turns out I'm 100% fucking amphibian mud skipping shit. I'm an amoeba. Yeah, I looked into it. It was really interesting. In fact, it turns out that my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, many times, you know, removed, but great-great-grandfather of mine was this sort of randomly assembled cell-like organism that just used to spend his days swimming around in the fertile volcanic soup in a land before time, before the universe had a conscience.
This is huge. Igbo, Yoruba, do we know?
So I mean, I'm going to start to dig deeper into all this because anyone that I've told, especially Nigerian women, are just like, what? This...
This is huge for our community. No, honestly, you do look like a Nigerian. You look like my Aunt Uzo. So this is great.
Oh my goodness, Uzo.
Shout out.
Here's the thing about Zeeway. I found her to be incredibly bubbly, warm, and inviting in our conversation setting. But with the persona that she puts on, apparently that's not a universal feeling. She'll tell you.
Usually when I'm talking to an interviewer, the first thing that they say to me is, I'm terrified of you.
Really?
Yeah, really. And I'm like, oh my God, that hurts my feelings. I'm a sensitive Pisces. Like, I don't want you to be scared of me. That's not my goal.
I mean, look, if you've seen her work, you may be able to understand why, for some people, she can inspire fear in an interview setting. In the early days of the pandemic, Zeeway skyrocketed to fame with Baited, a series on Instagram Live of mostly interviews that made people feel Uncomfortable, shall we say. Her guest would come on thinking it was just some little internet show. She was professional, she was poised, composed, and then she would just throw these curveballs out that her guests were definitely not ready for.
How many Black friends do you have, Caroline?
Very many. So many.
Very many?
As Donald Trump would say, a huge amount of Black friends. That's
I think I need to give that show a watch. That sounds pretty good. Making virtue signalers uncomfortable. How many Black friends do you have?
That's why my Instagram grid looks so black.
Oh, God, the pain. I'm definitely going to have to check that out.
So as an attractive white woman, how much free stuff do you get on the daily?
None.
You haven't gotten anything for free in your white life?
Yeah, I mean, pens.
Do you get pens for free? That's the most you're getting out of your white privilege is free pens.
No, that's not
Come on, work harder.
Well, you all know what laughter sounds like.
So, as you can see, Zeeway's approach can be, shall we say,
Racially divisive?
intense for some people. But according to Zeeway, she's just doing what a lot of white men in her field do all the time.
And you think of like Howard Stern
Ugh.
and like Stephen Colbert
Ugh.
and Andy Cohen, and that's kind of their interview style. Like I pull from them. So when I get that comment, I'm in my head, I'm like, "Arr!" And in real life, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I would try not to be scary.
Isn't that so funny?
It's terrible.
How does it make you feel inside when it happens?
How does it make me feel to instill terror in people? Horrible. I mean, that's why I wear pink. That's why my character is so hyper feminine. It's because it's sort of like, it codifies like the message of the show, I think. It's like Barbie packaging, and then you bite into the sandwich and it's like barbed wire.
I'm sorry, I'm so lost. Are Black women angry or not?
Do you think that your character plays into archetypes or pushes against them?
I think she fundamentally plays into archetypes. Yeah,
By design.
By design, because, well, honestly, think about it. Like, I grew up with like culturally conservative parents
Bastards.
who had a really like strict understanding of women, what women did and how they lived and if they cooked and cleaned, etc.
Oh, no. No.
And so from that understanding, I also exist in society and I know what the expectations are of women there as well. And these things correlate. And so to be the character of Zeeway that is brash and rude and thoughtful is in direct opposition to what a woman should be publicly.
Yeah, I'm really going to have to watch Zeeway's program to be able to gauge what she's talking about properly here. I bet this is confusing the hell out of Meghan. Are Black women angry? That's all she wanted to know. The word of the day was angry Black women. You're not talking about all these other things. Anyway, I think we're just going to have to leave it there unresolved for today. I will listen to the rest of the podcast and see if there's anything worth putting out there. But I enjoyed this bit. These first few minutes of the podcast. I thought it was wonderful. Lovely. Like, share and subscribe and leave a comment and all of those things because they really help me with the algorithm. And thanks for watching if you've made it this far.